Students, this is our maths teacher, the continuation of first lesson. Today we are going to start functions. So what is function? First of all, the definition of function. Let a and b be two sets, a relation f from a to b. A subset of a cross b is called a function from a to b if it satisfies the following condition. The first one, for all a belongs to a, there is an element b belongs to b such that your a comma b is belongs to f. Okay. And your second one, if a comma b belongs to f and a comma c belongs to f, then your b equal to c. That is your definition of function. So your question is define function. Now how to check whether the function is represent function or not? You have vertical line test. If the vertical line through a point x in the domain meets the curve at more than one point or does not meet the curve, then the curve will not represent a function. So when you are seeing the diagram, you can identify whether it is a function or not. I have given you the example. So here this is nothing but your parabola. Y square equal to 4ax or y square equal to x. So the curve will be like this. Here when you are drawing the line, it meets the curve at 2 points, so it is not a function. Like that, here you have the break in between the curve, but when you are drawing the line, it will not meet the curve. So this also is not a function. So your question sometimes define vertical line test. Testing whether a given curve represents a function or not by drawing vertical lines is called vertical line test or simply vertical test. Okay, so this is one of the simple one. So the next you have different types of functions. The most important one, modulus function or absolute value function. The function f from R to R is defined by f of x equal to mod x, where mod x is a modulus or absolute value of x. It's called the modulus function or absolute value function. So how to define your mod x? Mod x is nothing but minus x if x is less than 0, and 0 if x equal to 0, and plus x if x is greater than 0. So you have to identify the meaning of modulus of x. I think many of you will definitely confuse. So if your minus x means your x is belongs to negative value, and plus x means your x belongs to positive values. X can take positive values. 0 either side you can add, either here or here, any side you can add. Okay, that is your modulus function. So you should know whenever the modulus, it can take two values, minus 6 and plus 6 in the two respective places. So the next one, Signum function. The function f from R to R is defined by f of x equal to x by mod x if x is not equal to 0, and 0 if x equal to 0 is called Signum function. So if you need the diagram, you can refer the textbook. The next most important one, greatest integer function or floor function, right? So floor means normal your house floor only. The function f from R to R is defined by f of x is greatest integer less than or equal to x is called the integral part function or the greatest integer function. It is denoted by like L. Okay, two sides L and x. Okay, so that is called your greatest integer function or floor function. So you should know what is the integral part of the function. You know, integral part of the function in decimal number, you have integral part and decimal part. So that is called the integral part function. So the function f from R to R defined by f of x is the greatest integer less than or equal to x. So here you have to identify less than or equal. So you have greatest integer means you have to take less than. Next you have smallest, that place you have to take the largest number. Okay. So for example, the greatest integer function 1.5 is 1. So this is called integral part. Okay. So the number is 1 is integral part of the function. Like that 7 is integral part of the function. Like that here minus 2 means you have to take the next smallest number. Here 1.5, the smallest number is 1. Minus 2.5, smallest number is minus 3. So this is called your greatest integer function. Okay. So like that you have the next one, smallest integer function or ceiling function. Okay, the top, you have ceil function. Okay, the function f from R to R defined by f of x is the smallest integer greater than or equal to x is called the smallest integer function, and it is denoted by the top side you have the L. So here 1.5 means 2. You have to identify the difference. Greatest means you will write the least, and the smallest means you will write the greater value. So like that 7.23 equal to 8. So types of function, you have different types. You have completed in 10th standard also. So here you can see the diagram, arrow diagram. So the two lines are mapped to two elements. So it is called a 1 function. So here A and C mapped to C, and B is mapped to, A and C mapped to Y, and B is mapped to Z. So it is called onto function. Okay, so here no elements empty, here one elements empty, so it is called 1. So here all are mapped, but two elements are mapping to Y, so it is called onto function. So 1 to 1 and on to, you have the definitions. You can see that, right? Or you know this all, you are familiar in your 10th standard. So I am going to the next one. One of the example, check whether the following functions are 1 to 1 and on to. Your f from, this is read as f from n to n defined by f of n equal to n plus 2. So what is the working rule for 1 to 1? That is very simple. Let f of n equal to f of m. So suddenly how you are taking n and m. If your question is in terms of n and m, you take n and m. In terms of x and y, you take x and y. That's it. Okay. So what is your f of n is n plus 2. And f of m, m plus 2. You should not ask me where you have f of m. So whatever the letter you substitute, that is your function. So 2 cancel, you will be getting n equal to m, therefore f is 1 to 1. So this is a condition for 1 to 1. Next on to, you have natural numbers 1, 2, 3. So like that your right side also you have 1, 2, 3, 4. But when n equal to 1, you will be getting 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. Like that 2 means you will get 4. The first 1 and 2 no image, no pre-image. So 1 comma 2 has no pre-image, therefore f is not onto. This is a way to check your function is onto or not. The next one, second question, f from n union minus 1 comma 0 to n defined on by f of n equal to n plus 2. So like that the first function f is 1 to 1 and on to let m equal to n plus 2. So what is m equal to n plus 2? The function you take it as m and you find n value, n equal to m minus 2. Okay, you found out n equal to m minus 2. This is a way to check the onto function. The function you can give to some value like x or a or b, okay, and you find the n value in terms of other letter and substitute in your function. F of m minus 2 equal to m minus 2 plus 2 equal to m. Then this is a condition for onto function. So what we can conclude, your f of m minus 2 equal to m means your function is onto. If you are not getting m, the function is not onto, right? So take this equal to some letter, the function equal to some letter, and find the other letter in terms of what you have taken and substitute in your function, you will get m. So this is not an easy one, so I will try to explain one more in our next video, right? So for continuation, you follow the channel. Thank you.